I'm attorney Mark Nicholson from the law office of Mark Nicholson, also known as the Battery Man for my focus on criminal battery cases. Now, we're on day 2 of deliberations in the Puff Daddy trial. The jury is inching closer to a verdict, actually a little bit quicker than I anticipated. On this second day of jury deliberations, they have already had a unanimous decision on 4 out of the 5 charges. They are stuck on count 1, which is the racketeering charge. I think what this means is Diddy is getting convicted. The reason why I say that, I'll tell you about a little bit later. And the jury began their deliberations yesterday, Monday, and they were given instructions, as I talked about, on how to apply the law. So Tuesday, they had some more questions. I think there's been a total of 6 questions during the period of deliberations. So about after nearly 12 hours of deliberations over the 2 days, basically they reached a verdict on, let's see, counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 2 counts of the sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution. But they were unable to reach the verdict in count 1, which is the racketeering conspiracy. Now, the reason why I think this is bad for Puff Daddy is because if the jurors think that he should be found guilty of racketeering and conspiracy, it's unlikely that they believe that he was not guilty on any of the prostitution charges. So there's no way that the people that want him to be found guilty of racketeering, there's no way they would get in there and find him not guilty on the prostitution. That ain't happening. So this type of verdict situation is not uncommon when you're dealing with complex cases, and then you're also dealing with complex areas of the law that people that are not attorneys have to try to digest. What does this mean and apply it? I've had that happen in some of the cases I've tried. Now, this racketeering charge, this is the thing that really has got the jurors, and really I don't really believe that the state or the government, federal government, made the case for this, but they did make him look so bad that it's easy to see why some people want to find him guilty of racketeering. And what they're saying, this is the cornerstone of the prosecution's case against Combs, and they're alleging that he operated his business as a criminal enterprise, systematically engaging in illegal activities, including sex trafficking. I don't really think they made the case for that, but what they've made the case for is that he just was a billionaire, swinger lifestyle, and using his power to be a domestic batterer. That's kind of what I see. Anyway, these charges really were designed to target organized crime, and you really haven't seen or heard testimony of that he's running some kind of criminal enterprise where he's out here, having people killed and kidnapping and selling all these drugs and stuff like that. I mean, they found these drugs he was using. I mean, it didn't really seem like he was out here selling a whole bunch of drugs. He was buying those drugs to use at parties and stuff. So, I mean, it's a stretch, but I mean, that's what they're going with. Okay, now, what happens behind closed doors? Obviously the jury, they're sequestered in a private room where they, review evidence presented during the trial. They've asked to review additional pieces of evidence, and this is entirely confidential. People are not supposed to know what the jury's talking about, and they're supposed to not talk about it to other people. It's all supposed to be private. And this is designed to protect the integrity of the process, designed to protect the jurors, in this case, from outside influence. Not supposed to be, texting their family, all that kind of stuff like that. That's where our justice system is designed. It's not perfect, obviously, but where you get 12 citizens who come together to try to reach a verdict beyond a reasonable doubt in a case like this, in this criminal case. Now, so the message that was given to the judge said, we have reached a verdict on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are unable to reach a verdict on count 1 as we have jurors with unpersuadable opinions on both sides. So that means on both sides means there's some that want guilty, some that want not guilty. So that lets me know right there that if they are so adamant that he committed racketeering on count 1, that there's, in my opinion, there's no way they would say he didn't engage in a crime on counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's the waiting game. Obviously, if he's convicted on all counts, racketeering, basically he's facing like life in prison. He could face decades, basically the rest of his life in prison since he's already 50, I think 55 years old. Now, what to expect on day 3? Basically, the jury could reach a unanimous decision on that final count, allowing for all verdicts to be announced. They might declare themselves deadlocked on the racketeering charge, potentially leading to a partial verdict announcement, and the judge might provide additional instructions if the jury requests clarification of legal matters, or in rare cases, the jury remains deadlocked after extensive deliberations, and a mistrial could be declared on the unresolved count, which would basically mean that they're going to go into another day of deliberations. Like, if they can't reach a verdict on Wednesday, I think the judge is going to have them go one more day of deliberations on Thursday, just right before the holidays, and either they're going to reach a verdict, or if not, I think he's going to just declare a mistrial, and then those 4 verdicts are going to be read, which I think are going to be enough. I doubt if the federal government's going to retry him if they get a conviction on 4 out of 5 counts. I don't think they're going to, because all they really want is a conviction. Conviction on 1 count, I think prosecution would consider that a win. For the defense, I think Puff Daddy, the only thing that's going to be considered a win is an all-out acquittal. I don't think anything less than that would be considered a win. In most cases, if they beat the lead charge, that could be considered a win, because that's really what the government wants, is that heavy charge. Anyway, that's my prediction, and time will tell if I'm right. But so far, him not taking the witness stand, and we're on track, I think, to get a verdict before the holiday. All those have been spot on. So that's your Nicholson Nugget of the day. Please be sure to like and subscribe.